Hello and welcome to the David Carrier Show. I'm David Carrier, your family's personal attorney, and you have found the place where we talk about estate planning, elder law, real estate, and at least when we're not crashing the mic anyway by yelling at it. Now's the time for you to give us a call at 774-2424, area code 616-774-2424. We'll get your question, comment, or concern on the air. Especially if it has to do with wills, trusts, or probate, which would be estate planning, right? Estate planning ahead. Is it a good idea to plan ahead? No, it's a terrible idea. You should never plan ahead, right? It's daylight savings time, first day of daylight savings time today, right? So you don't want to plan ahead for that. Don't reset your clocks, right? And since it is springtime, right? Springtime, even though it's snowing as we speak, it's springtime, right? You don't have to plan as if it would still be winter outside, right? So don't plan. Planning's dumb. Dumb planning. You don't want to do that. The other thing you don't want to do is elder law. I'm telling you right now, elder law, terrible stuff. Elder law is that part of law that has to do with you while you're still alive. Well, who cares about that anyway, right? What if you need long-term care like 70% of folks do, according to the federal government, for at least 3 years? I don't say at least, average of 3 years, right? Average of 3 years, 70%. Look it up yourself, longtermcare.gov. It's right there. And 20% for 5 years or more. I think that's what they say. Yep. But everybody knows how cheap long-term care is, right? Very inexpensive. And so don't worry about it. Don't plan for that. That would be foolish and silly. So, don't think they're going to gobble up all your stuff. Sure, that happens, but so what? What difference does it make? You only saved your whole lifetime, and and besides, the government's really great at giving you everything you need. Isn't that right? Everything you want, everything you could possibly imagine, government will give it to you. So don't worry about planning ahead. Forget about all that elder law stuff. Also, real estate, right? They're turning us into a nation of renters. I don't know if you've noticed this. We're going to talk more about that because that is really, okay, forgetting them. Talk about a kick in the head. What's going on with real estate? Unbelievable. And yet there it is. And I didn't see it coming, but you could have seen it coming. It's been on the way now for quite a while, since the downturn in '08. So it's 14 years now in the making. And, talk about the wheels of justice, how does that go? Something about the mill of the Lord grinds slowly, but it grinds exceeding fine. The idea that bad things are coming and it's going to get worse. Well, that's real estate for you. And finally, business law. That's a bright spot. You see a lot of people who are deciding to set up their own businesses, really taking the initiative there. That's all. That's all good. Hooray for America, at least as far as that goes. So. Give us a call, 616-774-2424. I was listening. I was listening to my favorite preacher show, the only preacher show I listen to, and that that's because I can't avoid it. And they're all mystified. Here's the thing. It's so wackadoo that these people. You would think that people who are supposed to be close to people and understand people and goodness and righteousness, morality and motivation. It's all they do all day, right? Right? Isn't that what preachers are supposed to do? Figure out human beings and how they operate and that kind of thing. And then interpret it in terms of the long haul. Wouldn't you hope? I know I was going to talk about real estate, but this just drives me nuts. You would think that these people would have some concept, but one of them's like, oh, I don't understand. People coming together on this Ukraine thing, right? See everybody coming together, but it wasn't that way with the COVID, and now of course they're also getting angry at, one of them even said it was despicable that people were complaining about gas prices or something. Despicable. It's like, what? See. And then this is the best. And then they go on to, during the COVID, because they're professionals, they're not driving their Priuses around anymore. Their Priuses, yeah, that's, the smugmobile. Anyway, they're not driving that around anymore. So, we got all this gas money. Oh, my goodness. I mean, it's like, okay, I can tell you don't work at McDonald's or in a factory or anywhere else. Hey, and listen, my fat ass has been stuck here in the basement doing this stuff. I mean, seriously, I'm in that boat, where yeah, I wasn't driving around. Well, it's still good to go to the office, but still, I mean, it could have done more. It could have done more on the online stuff. But I know lots of folks who couldn't. You know what I mean? And the idea that you didn't know that, that your congregants, these are preachers and all that, that the people you're preaching to, they don't have the luxury of hanging out, right? They got to pay for the gas, right? And it's like, oh, I don't understand. And it's almost like they didn't say this. I'm not claiming they did say this outright, out loud. They didn't say this part out loud. But there was very much the notion that, I mean, this is my sense of it. Okay, so I'm horrible and prejudiced and awful and terrible and ascribing unworthy motives to other people. So, shame on me and sackcloth and ashes and all the rest. But man, if the sense wasn't, you should have saved the money from the low gas prices before, so you could pay the higher prices now. You know what I mean? It was along the lines of, you should be grateful, something like this, and it was that I don't know what you would call it. How dare you complain about gas prices? Because this is the moral thing to do. It's like, what? You think the gas prices has anything to do with Russia? Russia? You think it has anything to do with that? Maybe it has to do with an unremitting campaign against domestic oil production. I mean, do you remember? It wasn't that long ago. It was not that long ago that, like a year or so, that we were exporting oil and natural gas. Do you remember that? That was back when gas prices were $1.67 a gallon, $2 a gallon, all day long. Because why? Because the problem is not Russia. The problem is the United States. That's the problem. There's plenty of oil out there. Plenty of oil, right? The fact that we get 3% or 8% or 10% or whatever the hell the percent is, we buy it, it came out of the ground in Novosibirsk instead of South Dakota, right? Kind of irrelevant because it's a global market. See, here's the thing. Everybody's like, ooh, we're gonna boycott or whatever Russian oil. We're not gonna take the Russian oil. What the hell difference does it make? Because if they don't sell it here, they're selling it to China, right? And it's all around the world. Everybody's buying the oil. It makes you feel good. It was like, the freedom fries instead of French fries. It's the same order of magnitude of stupidity. It's like, if we're not buying it, they're selling it somewhere else. And because everybody in the world participates in the same oil market, it really doesn't matter. Now, I get it. It makes you feel better. Not to say, well, I'm not burning any oil that came out of the ground, in Russia. Okay, I'm glad that makes you feel better. I can kind of understand that. Yeah. But the idea that it has anything whatsoever to do with the price of oil, is just ridiculous. Think about it. There's only so much oil. Everybody wants it, and they bid up the price. It's the way it works. And if the hydrocarbons that came out from the ancient dinosaurs, or wherever the hell oil comes from, right? It's dead dinosaurs, isn't it? Or dead vegetation or something that I don't know. Wherever it comes from, down in the ground, pumped it out, right? Whether it comes, as I say, from Texas, South Dakota, Oklahoma, off the North Sea, from those gas fields they found in Israel, Iran, it doesn't matter because it all goes into the same market, okay? So this BS that they're trying to peddle that, it was Putin that made the gas prices go up. I mean, the worst thing in the world, you know what would be worse than they're just flat out lying to you? The worst thing in the world would be if they believed it. See? if they believed that, okay? Because that would be so profound in ignorance that you can understand it. You can say, hey, waving the flag, we don't want anything from those guys. Those guys are bad guys. We're going to make it more difficult for them to sell the oil because we're not going to buy it. Okay, fine. Yeah, I can get behind that. Ooh, you guys are nasty and I don't want to deal with you. Fine. You've also got nuclear weapons and all the rest of this stuff, and I guess in the world I am going to have to deal with you because who's gonna stand against China? Who's going to distract China from what we got going on over here? And maybe working, even with evil people is the way not to get other people killed and stuff like that. Okay, maybe you could see that position, right? Maybe you could understand that, but but don't tell me that that's why gas prices are up. I hope nobody out there is believing that. Are you? Please, no. Anyway, if you have a real question about law stuff, I'm happy to talk about that too.